Thanks for coming today. What we wanted to do with the launch of the December Traffic Safety Spotlight is to give the public and the media an idea of what to expect when they encounter a police check stop, which is something they very well may encounter one over the course of the holiday season. Last year, we saw dozens of check stops throughout Saskatchewan. It's expected that that's going to be the case again this year as well. I understand that the Regina Police Service has a check stop, in fact, planned for this evening. I hope I'm not giving away any secrets, but the idea is that you never know where you might encounter one, when you might encounter one. So it's always a good idea that as you're traveling to and from your holiday gatherings, that you make sure there is a sober driver behind you. And making a plan to have a safe ride home at the end of the evening is one way that you can ensure that this holiday season is filled with nothing but happy memories. We understand that Acting Sergeant Mark Goulet, his colleagues at the Regina Police Service, and their colleagues at police agencies throughout Saskatchewan will be spending many cold nights helping make sure that our roads are safer from impaired driving, and we ask the public to do their part, making sure that they make those good choices for themselves. They help their friends and family make good choices, and make sure that everyone is choosing safety and joy this holiday season. I guess I'd be happy to answer any questions, and I'll turn over the mics to Acting Sergeant. Sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize. We'll get through this together. I swear we will.
That's okay.
The greatest safety risk is going to be you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Tase me now. Just to do it.
Put you out of your misery.
Yeah.
So, what were the statistics last year during December that came out of the ride?
So what
Just
we?
wait 10 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. I'm going to do this.
Perfect.
Another 30 seconds will do something else too. All right. A little better?
Oh, I have coffee, by the way, guys. So just have to. Yeah.
Just get you to take a sniff.
Should have mentioned that right off the get-go. Would have got off.
We just got it. But yeah. Just kidding.
Just about there.
You're going right up my nose, Wayne. Is this the best angle?
No. I was just adjusting something in my viewfinder. I'm going back to the proper angle. Okay, you're good.
Okay, let's do this. All right, statistics last year. Okay, I actually have to kind of. So what we have seen over the last few years is that people are the amount of impaired driving that we see in terms of collision statistics and also in terms of enforcement statistics is less than we see it throughout the rest of the year. And what we would attribute that to is not fewer people necessarily being impaired, but fewer people making choices that would lead them to being in a collision or being cited for impaired driving. So, for example, over the last holiday season, unfortunately, we did see one person lose their life in an impaired driving collision. We saw another 20 people injured in impaired driving collisions. We've seen those numbers actually kind of trending down a little bit. If you look at the last few years' average, it would have been somewhat higher on the fatalities and on the injuries. So we are seeing people making good decisions. Unfortunately, when you're even one person losing their life, even one person being injured as a result of impaired driving is one too many. When you consider the fact that impaired driving is 100% preventable. When you're talking about enforcement statistics, the trend that we're seeing is criminal code charges, the more serious impaired driving offenses, coming down somewhat. The number of administrative roadside suspensions going up. So that's more people being, suspended for 3 days, having their vehicle impounded, but not necessarily charged criminally. So one of the things driving that is an increased number of impaired driving suspensions related to cannabis. We're seeing more drug-related suspensions. And one of the reasons for that is police have the ability to test at roadside drivers who have been using cannabis, and we'll have a demonstration of that today as well. So we just want people to understand that police have the ability to test for cannabis in addition to alcohol. They can make an alcohol demand, an alcohol test demand to any driver they legally stop, and if they suspect that driver's been using cannabis, they can make a demand for a road swab as well, or a roadside oral fluid swab. So these are tools in the police's toolbox, and we just want to encourage people to make good choices, exercise their safe ride options, and they don't have to worry what happens when they roll into one of these check stops, or if they encounter a police officer in another way, because police officers will not just be using check stops to enforce impaired driving. They have other less visible tactics as well that I'm sure Acting Sergeant Boulay can elaborate on.
How many check stops usually go up in the holiday season?
So last year, I believe there were upwards of 50. I know this year in Saskatchewan there's going to be dozens of check stops, and in not just in Regina, communities throughout the province. So, and they can happen any night of the week. It's not just a Friday, Saturday thing. So just understand that if you are getting behind the wheel, make sure you are sober, and you don't have to worry about what happens, and make sure that your stay at a check stop will be brief and pleasant. Okay.
I'm gonna raise my mic there.
Raise the camera, raise the mic.
Yeah.
You're rolling.
Just a little bit. Few seconds here.
Yep.
6'4" or
6'3".
6'3", yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Plus in your job.
It is. It is. There's a plus in high school too.
Yeah, that is.
There's a lot of sports that like that.
Oh,
so,
sports. Oh, I thought
yes.
you're getting the playground squabbles.
No, no, no.
No.
No,
I'm probably
basketball,
more yearly.
volleyball, football. It all works out for that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I wondered. Yeah.
yeah.
You're from Regina?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born here, but raised in Whitewood.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, I was a small town boy for quite a while, and then we came back to Regina, and I stayed here ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you finished high school up there?
I finished here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, we came back for my last couple years here. Yeah.
It's tough to move halfway through. But
It is. It is. It was
you've got
different.
friends in
But
both places.
yes. Yes.
Okay, just for the records, could you spell your first and last name, please?
Yes. It's Acting Sergeant Mark M-A-R-K Goulet Golaiy.
So I assume you will be an officer participating in the road stops this winter?
I will not be.
You will
But
not.
I am the one that organizes all of them.
Oh,
So
fair enough. So, how many road stops do you think are needed during this time of year because there's an increase in impaired driving that's usually seen in December?
well, increase is going to be based on people celebrating. They're going to be out doing their work celebrations, having their end of season celebrations, and of course the holiday season celebrations. So we typically will do a minimum of 2 stop checks or overdrives. We have 2 different methods that we use. We'll do typically 2 a week because this time of the year it gets a little busier for the impaired driving. So we just want to make sure that we're out there and visible and letting people, reminding them not to be drinking and driving or having any other intoxicating substance while driving.
Are you guys seeing more impaired driving cannabis cases rather than drinking and driving, or do they kind of stack up the same?
It's very similar. We're finding, what I find is when I'm at the check stops, I usually do the summer ones because they're a little warmer. But during the summer ones, we're finding that the alcohol impaired has started coming down. So people are starting to understand that they shouldn't be drinking and driving. But we are finding that the marijuana is going up significantly during these stop checks. So we're finding that they're not necessarily getting a full-blown impaired criminal charge, but we're finding a lot more people that are getting the administrative suspensions off the marijuana now.
What are you expecting this season compared to last season?
I think we're going to be continuing with the trends where the alcohol seems to be getting better. It's still not perfect, but it's getting better. So we will see probably a few less alcohol related suspensions and impaired charges, but I'm going to assume that the marijuana suspensions and impaired charges are going to continue to rise. So they're kind of offsetting each other. And I'm assuming that's going to be the trend this year as well.
And not that this isn't common knowledge as to why drinking and driving is so not okay, but can you just speak a little bit as to why these check stops are so important?
These check stops are very important. It's in order to keep impaired drivers off the road and make people think. Like, we have high visibility ones so that everybody sees that we're out there and we're enforcing, and we're hoping people see us and are reminded not to drink and drive, or not to use marijuana and drive, or any other substance and drive, because it does impair your driving abilities. As a reconstructionist, I come out to all the crashes that are caused by the impaired driving that can be fatal or cause serious injuries, and I would rather not have to see any of those this holiday season. So I'd just like to remind motorists, please find a safe way home so that I don't have to come out and I'm not someone that you end up seeing.
That was all for me.
What was I just missed your plans for this season. How many check stops? Was it 2 a week?
There'll be 2 a week, and then at the end of the year there'll be 3. So we'll be doing a high visibility check stop just about every week. So that is what we have set up here, where we are high visibility. We're reminding motorists that we're going to be out, we're going to be watching, but we also do another type of enforcement, which is done with an unmarked vehicle. Typically we have 4 or 5 unmarked vehicles out, and we will focus on the bars. So you won't necessarily see those ones until you are getting pulled over, but that is what we're looking for in those areas as well. And those will be done every week as well.
Is that the overdrives that you
Yes.
mentioned earlier? Okay.
So the high vis is these kind of stop checks, and the overdrive is what we call our low visibility ones. Yes.
Undercover. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.